Hi, I'm James McGuire, and on today's eSpeaks, we're talking about how tech professionals can educate themselves or add to the education they already have to get the best possible job in today's very lucrative tech job market. To discuss that, I'm joined by someone who knows a lot about the topic. With me is the CEO of Go Cloud Careers, Michael Gibbs. Michael, happy Friday to you. Thanks for joining us today.
Happy Friday, and I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Great to have you here for sure. So let's talk about the need for tech talent and the scarcity of tech talent. I'm amazed by it. I've got a few friends that work as tech professionals. They have jobs and they get a couple of job offers a week, if not more. They get calls from headhunters. They get messages on LinkedIn. Scarcity seems to be the name of the game these days. So what are some trends driving the tech job market, and why the scarcity?
Well, I'd like to tell you there's always been this scarcity. So I've
Hmm.
interviewed 5,000 people in my career, and I've hired 10 of them.
Wow.
The
Okay.
reality is it's really, really hard to find a qualified technology professional. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people that know a little bit about a lot of things in tech. They have enthusiast knowledge or hobbyist knowledge. They know a little Linux, a little networking, a little cloud, a little programming. But the problem is they're not really employable for the bigger job because we need someone with a deep skill set. So
Hmm.
there's always been a vast vacancy of people that are truly competent. But things have changed in the last few years that have changed everything. Because we had the pandemic, which took so many traditional brick and mortar things online, we had a lot of digital transformation in a very shortage of time. Because we were using the network and data center for the last 20 years, which worked great, and we needed to be able to access things more remotely and be a little more agile, we moved to the cloud, which is another network and a data center. Now, the cloud providers have been teaching cloud computing in a way that bewilders 99% of the population.
Hmm.
They've taken something that was very simple and they've obfuscated it. They've taken a virtual machine, which is the same technology we've used for 30 years now, and they renamed it Elastic Compute Cloud or Compute Engine Instance. And by the time they're done, people are confused. We take object storage, which exists in the data center, which IBM has sold forever, that we'd have in Amazon and Google and Microsoft data center and our own data center, and then they call it Amazon Simple Storage. Microsoft calls it Blob. By the time we're
Hmm.
done with it, we've created a language that's fantasy world of languages that doesn't mean anything.
A lot of
And then we've got
terminology.
people that
Yep.
now don't know their job because they don't know what it is.
Mhm.
Really, it's the same job we've been doing for decades, but with all these fancy names and all this obfuscation, it's confusing people. They have no idea what they're actually working on. So that's exacerbated the tech shortage. So moving to a new technology, there's
Mhm.
always been a shortage of qualified people. And now we're renaming the same things with 10 different names. And there's so much confusion in the industry that it's caused people to struggle.
There's no doubt the library of terminology continues to amaze me, and I've been just studying this and reading about this, following this for years. The terminology is deep for sure. So if there's a job seeker out there, a tech job seeker, that individual is looking for their best possible job. What are a few must-haves beyond the tech skills themselves? I mean, what advice do you give to tech job seekers these days?
I got to tell you, to be really good in tech, to have the best career potential, to get the best promotions, fastest career, and earn the most, it's not actually about the tech. Now, I'm going to say this
Hmm.
again, for technology professionals, it's not about the tech. It's the impact that the tech can do to our customers. How can the technology improve our customer sales, decrease our customers' expenses, get people collaborating to produce new products better, faster, and cheaper? For technology professionals that want a real career, they've got to understand what the tech can do for the business. So I've got to tell you this, when it comes to interviewing someone, about 50% of their interview is related to their competency, but
Mhm.
the other
Mhm.
50% is not. It's related to that person's level of trust. Do you trust that person? And I got to tell you, in most interviews, most people bluff or lie, so they lose the interview right there.
Hmm.
The next thing, does that person know their limitations? We're always concerned about this. So does the person know what they know and know what they don't know, so they don't make a configuration error, like the kind of configuration error that occurred at Facebook this year, which was down for 8 hours or multiple hours?
Mhm.
What else we're looking for is energetic, enthusiastic, and passionate people. I mean, I don't want someone that's taking a nap on staff, and neither does any
Right.
hiring manager.
Right.
The next thing that we're looking for, and by the way, this is the critical success factor to really have a rocket ship career, is emotional intelligence.
Mm.
Emotional intelligence is the best predictor of career success. but also statistically speaking, it adds about $30,000 to someone's career. Now, after emotional intelligence, I would say soft skills. That's the likability factor. Soft
So
skills
really,
enable
you're
us
talking
to,
about really personal factor. It's
oh,
not the bits and bytes. It's a more personal question.
it's a much more personal. When you walk in a room, can you build a team of the 50 best technology professionals you have and design a solution together? And if you don't have that emotional intelligence, soft skills, and leadership skills, you're a one-man wrecking crew or a one-woman wrecking crew. And
Hmm.
one person can't do that much, but the team of 50 of the world's best and brightest from all over the world can. So the leadership skills are that. Now, the business acumen, nobody buys technology because they want it. If you want to go
Right.
far, you've got to be CXO relevant. You got to be able to walk into the CEO's office, ask them about their business, find their business goals, their business pain points, their business challenges, and craft a solution that's business relevant for them. So
Mhm.
the business acumen, the CXO relevant piece. Lastly, presentation skills. We present constantly in elite roles. We must be able to present differently to the C-level suite versus the engineering suite versus the management suite. We also do a lot of writing in our job, so we need to be expert writers. And really, when it comes down to it, we also need to how to sell, because all the best technology careers, we're selling something.
Mhm.
Either we're in our company and I say to my manager, I need these 10 people to work and I need to sell my management. I need to sell resources to work on my team, or I need to sell a product to the customer. So those are
Mhm.
really the skills that really make a difference in someone getting hired. And that's the difference between the career at the bottom versus the career at the top. It's those
Interesting.
skills.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's turn our attention for a moment to the other side of the equation. The companies doing the hiring, obviously they're having a really hard time these days. It's a very tight market. They're scouring wherever they can find to get, top talent. What advice do you give the companies for finding talent in this highly competitive market?
There's a couple of things. I've seen one trend. One trend the cloud provider is doing is they're providing what I call technician education. Amazon just made a video game to learn cloud. And they teach basic tech courses all the cloud providers are doing. And what they're teaching is they're taking these big professionals and they're turning them into junior techs. I'll teach you a little bit of how this job works in a video game, just enough to almost be able to do the job, but not enough to be a professional. So that's what organizations are doing. But guess what? What are they going to create? Technicians, not the people that really are solving the problem. So here's the key. Hire outside of your industry.
Hmm.
My chief operating officer is from the hotel industry. He is a numbers guy, an analytical guy beyond anything I could possibly imagine.
Hmm.
And because he didn't come from tech, and I've been in tech for 25 years, he thinks differently than me.
Mhm.
So I'd say look for other careers. Like the architecture career, for example, as a career where you come in, you ask the CEO about their business,
Mhm.
then you ask about what their people are doing, you examine their current systems, for example, and you create a design and you sell it to them. Who else does that? Management consultants do that. They meet with the client, they ask some business questions, they evaluate the current systems, work processes, make a diagnosis, and make a plan. Same job, identical, just things have changed. So I'm
Interesting.
working with some accountants, I'm working with some lawyers, I'm working with some medical professionals, and I'm a medical professional. I went from internal medicine as a nurse practitioner to cloud. Because what did I do in medicine? I interacted with the patient, I asked them questions. I examined the patient, I made a diagnosis and a plan. Identical job to the architect. So what I'd say is two, look towards other industries, but also more than this, there's a big world out there. And I'm training
Mm.
people in Africa, I'm training people in India, I'm training people in Pakistan, I'm training people in Singapore. And there's a lot of people, and 99% of these jobs can be done anywhere in the world. Whether you're working from home, whether you're in Lagos, Nigeria, whether you're in Cameroon, Cape Town, South Africa, Bangalore, India. It doesn't matter where your person does his programming. It doesn't matter where your person does their sysadministration. Anywhere in the world, they can hire anybody.
Interesting stuff. No, it's no doubt the world is much smaller these days, and the idea of education and expertise really does transcend borders. Let's look specifically at your company, Go Cloud Careers. What's the advantage here? You're offering technical education online, I'm assuming. So what's the advantage of your company as opposed to the many other online education?
Well, we're not purely online.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what we do and why it's different. We put together a program that would cost about $50,000 and we deliver it for a single day's pay for our average graduate. We do this via the phone. We have 3 live classes per week via Zoom, live interactive classes. So we get to see and speak to our people.
Hmm.
So we have a community. Now, so we do that 3 times a week. what I say is especially different is other people get people certified. That's their graduation plan. They're certified. Our
Hmm.
graduation is people that take our program, get hired in the end. And we let them stay in our program until they are hired. So if the people do the work, the outcome of our program, our graduation is hired. And if it takes them 4 months or 14 months in our program to get hired, we'll keep them in there, we'll train them, we don't charge more because we want them to be hired. Now, one of the other things that we do that's really special is we built this community via Slack. So our students do a homework assignment and they submit it to us via Slack and we give them feedback on it. So it's like a real live classroom. So we have these live classes. We have a couple hundred hours of pre-recorded classes. And then we also have a lab component. Now we teach cloud computing. So others teach people how to implement things on people's cloud. We teach people how to build every element of the cloud. And then our students build the cloud when it's done. So they know how to do it. But what we do, which is different, is since we're training architects, only half of the architect business is tech. The other half of it is it's a hybrid business executive plus technology professionals. So when our architects, we teach presentation skills training, we teach negotiation training, we teach sales training, CXO relevancy training, executive leadership, executive communication. We teach the whole package. And that's why we're able to almost guarantee, we don't guarantee because I can't guarantee that the students actually do the work or show up for classes. But that's why we're willing to say, if you join our program, you can stay in our program until you're hired, because you will be hired. So that's what's different.
That's an interesting promise, actually. Well, let's look to the future of the tech job market. I mean, obviously, you're very invested in cloud, and cloud seems like it's going to grow from here as far as we can see. There's other technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning, edge computing, all of course, need tech candidates. What do you see as the future of the tech job market?
Well, I see it almost all exclusively going cloud. And not that I wish it was. The cloud is, realistically speaking, nothing more than a network and a data center that's been virtualized. And what are we doing? We're going from our various networks and data centers, which work great, high performance, but they're not agile. For example, in our data centers, let's say we want a website for a retail company. Let's say we pick a big retailer. We build the website for Christmas Day or Black Friday in the US, which means all year long, the technology infrastructure is operating at 2%, 3%. And we're building it out that way for just Christmas. Whereas the cloud, we can operate it with what we need when we need it, and then add capacity and demand. So I see it all going to the cloud. So edge computing, here's what it is. It's a hybrid between the cloud and the data center, meaning in the data center, it's the fastest. The cloud's further away. So the edge is just going in between us and the cloud. So of course, I see more of that. More Internet of Things devices, sure, they're more edge to edge. That's more edge computing, which again gets fed into the centralized cloud. The machine learning aspect, most people are doing it on the cloud because the tools are pre-made. So I see a huge machine learning. But it's not just machine learning. See, machine learning is a tool. It's just a tool. But what are people using the machine learning? Are they using for data science purposes? And they will be. Taking information from various sources, aggregating it and mining it for information to make better decisions in real time, to make predictions and influences, to make investments in real time. So yes, it's there. Collaboration and communications technology is still going to get better. You know, when I was at Cisco, we had telepresence, which is special high definition video. And, you know, we had to build special beyond HD video. But you know what? Right now I'm using Zoom. And when I'm speaking to you on Zoom, I'm using a 6K video camera that's plugged into a video encoder with professional audio that's going into a 64-core workstation, which is basically enough to power like 6 space shuttles. And I'm doing that right now in my house just to do this. And that's the future. That's the future. More personalized everywhere, virtual worlds.
I like it. I think, Michael, that is a fascinating image. I'm going to hang on to the image, and it's going to be interesting to watch it grow in the years ahead. Michael, thank you so much for sharing expertise today. I definitely learned something.
I was honored and thrilled to be here.